Aloha! Welcome back, dreamers. Welcome to everybody jumping in on the podcast, the Dream Into It podcast. If you're jumping in on our YouTube, my YouTube channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. So honored to be able to have this moment in time and your attention, because time is valuable. So I thank you for that. I can't say thank you enough for showing up for yourself, for me, all of this, to have these wonderful conversations right here in my space, in your space, all of it. And I just want to say thank you so much. So have my coffee per usual. If you have your coffee, yes, I have a party in a cup, Moscow Mule cup always, and iced coffee, just how I like it. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you're drinking on your end when you jump onto my episodes. And I feel like we can have a simultaneous sip together. So let's do that before we start. So wherever it is you are at today I was just like, what was I going to talk to you about? You know, I don't have a script. It's always right here from my heart, right off the top of my head. And so I just love to have these authentic conversations. It's the reason I started my podcast. It was just a way for me to play, to have fun. And of course, we got a bunch of listeners now, and I thought I was like hiding in the corner, speaking into the microphone, like playing. And then my team's like, you need to start recording these lives. People love them. Bring in more people wherever it is that you are at. I hope to be able to meet you there, whether it be on YouTube, on podcasts, on TikTok, on all of it. And so thank you so much. But the topic that came to my mind today, a lot of times I'll see things on my feed, or it'll just spark a idea in my head. I'm like, that's what I want to talk about today. And so, you know, I run FusedHawaii.com, my swimwear brand, my little baby. And through 11 years of growing this business to what it is today, multi-million-dollar online e-commerce brand, over 100,000 like following, all of this, I learned some interesting facts about women. I learned some interesting things. So I started the brand making a swimsuit for myself, right? I'm going to show you that swimsuit that I created. The first bottom that I ever did was these Kona Bottoms, this ruche back, these sides that were like a little bit wider, little scrunching happening here. This, for instance, this scrunch, FYI, if you don't have a scrunch back bikini bottom, you might need it in your life after this. It'll give you that little boop, that little lift that you need, right? On the back. We call this a hug for your butt. And so this Kona bottom was my first design. When I designed this, I had just gotten pregnant with my first daughter. I have 4 wonderful daughters now. So for all you moms of 4 out there, girl, I get it. And so all of you moms out there, you go girl, you got this. And so yes, this is the first design I ever made. I designed it because, well, my body was going through changes, going through the normal changes that it takes to make a human. They don't tell you these things in school, right? So I was 24 years old. You know, at 24, I was feeling good, right? You're feeling good. My body had never had a baby before. And so I went through, let's just say, some changes, right? My first daughter was born. She was breached. She was 6 weeks premature. I had her a natural birth. I was in labor for 4 days. My water broke on a Friday. I gave birth on a Tuesday. So for all of you ladies out there who know what that's like, more power to you. And for those of you who don't, well, I'll have to share that birth story on another day, because it was a day. Let me tell you, my daughter's name now is Kumominani Mikonano Koloki Kamono Moy Moya Ui, because I had 4 days to come up with this name. And I was always that mama. I was always that woman, not a mom yet at that time, was like, I'm never gonna name my daughter a long Hawaiian name. No ways am I gonna do that to them. Then after sitting in the hospital for 4 days, it was like, yeah, you're getting that name, girl. And so my daughter now has this long name. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. We'll get back to that later though. But anyhow, in that process, my body was changing. I got a sewing machine. I started learning. I took all my bikinis that I loved and I was just trying to like design. I went and bought some stretchy fabric from the store. I didn't even know what like spandex, nylon, lycra, all of that stuff was. I just got some fabric that was stretchy and I pieced it together and I took the suits that I liked. And this all started because I walked into a boutique at the time. Not gonna name any names, but walked into a boutique looking for a swimsuit and they didn't have one that made me feel comfortable in my skin. So I had to go and make one, right? So ladies, anytime we hit a roadblock in our lives, that's my little lesson, right? When I walked into that store, I'm like, well, they don't have what I want. They don't have what I need. Do I like walk out of that store feeling bad about myself? Do I walk out of that shop saying, well, I have to go change my body now to fit these garments that they have to feel beautiful? No, I'm a problem solver. And so I went home and I'm like, well, obviously that's something that needs to be created because it doesn't exist yet. It was a suit for me to make me feel beautiful in my skin because there was nothing wrong with my body. It's just that the suit did not exist at that time to make me feel the way I wanted to feel. So I created it. Did I know how to sew? No. Did I have a design background? No. Did I know how to grade patterns? Did I know anything about a sewing machine? No. Did I let that stop me? No. And I'm here today having sold probably close to 100,000 bikinis to date. Yeah, pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I gotta sit with that for a moment because I don't always sit with that. And so, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Anyhow, why am I telling you this story? Well, when I pulled my card from my Body Love Letters deck, if you don't have one, you need to get one of these. Every time I film one of my YouTube shows, my podcast, I try to pull a card from my Body Love deck to set the intention of the mood, the intention that I want to get across for these shows. And the card that I came up today was my worth is not defined by a number on a scale. I'm gonna just let that hit home real quick. My worth is not defined by a number on a scale. Ladies, I can't say that loud enough. I'm going to clap right now to drill that in our heads. My worth is not defined by a number on a scale. I have 4 daughters and I watch them grow up, right? And I'm still trying to learn this, right? I remember being younger, in my younger days, pre-kids, thinking that the body I had then, which was way tinier than the body I have now, needed to be altered. No. There was a movie, right? And it said, what was it? Was it some bridesmaid type movie? And it was like, you don't alter Vera to fit your body. You alter your body to fit Vera. Well, guess what? That's not true. That was a movie, right? I'm a designer now. I can say this. I design swimwear for body types from extra small going up to 4X. Why? Because I alter bikinis to fit women's bodies. What did that look like for me? Just giving you a little bit of behind the scenes of what that looked like for me, not knowing anything about design. And I think that was my advantage in this community, is I didn't know how to grade patterns properly. I didn't know how to use mannequins. I didn't know how to use the special rulers. I had a $30 sewing machine that was slightly broken, tissue paper, and a pencil. I drew on the tissue paper patterns formed to my body to begin with. And what did a pattern look like? I don't know. I started taking apart swimwear. I started taking apart underwear, garments, anything that I thought was comfortable, and I started tracing it on there. Then I started learning, give it a little extra room here, seam allowances, right? All of those things. So I learned this in the process. Then I made a bikini for me. Then I tried it on my friends. And then I started altering my swimsuit to fit their bodies. And it was so freaking fun. It was so fun. What was fun about it? You think it wasn't making the bikinis that was fun. The most fun part for me was seeing the look on their face when the garment would fit. You know, it's kind of like when you're a chef and you cook a meal and you feed it to someone and you look at that look of satisfaction on their face after they eat your meal that you prepared, and it makes you feel so amazing. That's the feeling I got when I started altering my bikinis to a woman's body, because that's what real designers should be doing, right? Clothing should fit your body to make you feel beautiful. That's what I believe. My brand, this way, that's what I do. And that look on their face. So fast forward, I had a small boutique, a little retail store, and these women would come into the shop, and they'd come in sometimes with their boyfriends, their husbands, and you know, the men in your life that really love you, they want to see that look on your face too, that look where you're lighting up and you feel amazing. And I'm watching them shop for a swimsuit, and right now in that swim shop, every suit I had hand sewn. There were about 200 pieces I cut, and I sewn every single piece on that shelf. And so it's like if you've made a meal, you created art, you know what it feels like to see the look on people's faces, and if they don't like it, if they love it, it's like it's your art, right? So at that time, there was always that customer that would come in with their other halves, and they'd be wanting a swimsuit, and they want to feel good in their skin. And there's sometimes some women would come in and they're like, I can't, you know, I can see the conversations happening, I'm observing, and they're looking sad, they're looking down, they're like, there's no way my body will look good in this. There's no way I'm gonna walk out of this shop and feel good about myself, right? And just before they walk out of this shop with nothing in their hands, right? And I see the look on the husband's face or the boyfriend's face, like a little bit saddened, because who wants to see their wife, their girlfriend, their other half, somebody that they love, feel that way about themselves? And those are the words that go unspoken, right? Those are the words that go unspoken when your heart in your chest like sinks, and it feels really, really horrible because you want to feel good in your skin. And right before they would walk out that door, right, I had this sign posted, right, big poster board right before people would exit my shop. And it was a reminder to me. I would see it from the cash register. I would see it everywhere I was in my shop. I would see this sign, and it said, Maya Angelou. I can't say it exactly if it doesn't come out of my mouth properly right now, but it was, people won't remember what you do, right? People won't remember the words you say. People are going to remember how you make them feel. And that was always my reminder daily. And I wanted to make them feel good. Till this day, that's my story. That's my community. That is why I'm here every single day. And so I remember right before they step out the shop, I go, did you need help? Can I help you? I'm the owner, I'm the designer of these suits. And so of course they'd come back, they want to talk. You know, we'd start a small conversation and be like, girl, I got you. Like, I know you're gonna look great in this specific size, in this specific suit for your body. And I just like, boop, 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 pair up something that I thought would look great on her body. She'd go into the fitting room and she would come out glowing. She'd come out glowing, and you know, didn't happen 100% of the time, I ain't gonna lie. But majority of the time, I could find the suit that would make her feel good. That was my job, right? I wanted her to walk out of my store, walk out of my shop feeling good. That was my one job. And she'd come out of that dressing room and glowing, and her husband, her other half, whoever she was with, the look on their face, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, that look on the guy's face too, like, she's happy. And so why am I saying all of this? Why am I saying all of this? But it just reminded me of that story when I first began. And, you know, till this day now, I don't know when was the last time I jumped on a scale, but I know the last time I did, it didn't feel good. It was like, why, right? My worth is not defined by a number on a scale, right? And so, ladies, we know this too. We know this, you know, but we need this reminder. There's sometimes, like, I'm working out, and like, I gain weight. Like, there were times where I ran a marathon. 3 months later, I ran another marathon, and I gained weight, right? So if I was defining my worth by a number on a scale, how crazy, right, would that be? How crazy. And again, I bring up this Kona Bottoms, right? This is our best seller to date. It's usedhawaii.com in my company now. And I'm so happy that I did this. Like, when I would first start with this bottom, and I was wholesaling it at the time, cold calling boutiques, shops to sell this in their store, I got so many rejections. And what did they tell me? They told me there was too much fabric. They told me the size runs were too large. They told me that it wasn't a good idea. Thank God I didn't listen, right? Tens of thousands of these later, I'm so happy I stuck to my guns and I didn't listen. Until this day, this bikini bottom is making women feel good. It's doing its job. I'm doing my job. I love it. Thank you so much for all of you who are rocking your Kona bottoms out there. But moral of the story, lady, my worth is not defined by a number on a scale. And that goes to both ends of the spectrum. Because as I'm here and I'm on social media all the time, and I work with women of all ages, of all sizes, I see comments on our social media platforms that are not nice to all sizes. Extra smalls, extra smalls, 4X, 2X, 3X. I've realized after observing this for 11 years now, there is not a perfect body type. Did you hear me? Because, let me tell you, we have made posts of every single type of body type, and all of them will get negative feedback, right? And so we're not defined by a number on a scale. We're not defined by a comment on social media by a stranger. So for all of you listening that need to hear that today as a reminder, let me tell you that I have 4 kids. My body has been through some things, okay? 4 natural births, right? And so you think I don't wake up in the morning, right, with some doubts about my body, right? Some days I take a picture, post it on social media, like, ooh, we want your abs. What's your workout plan? Do you know that same woman you're looking at still thinks some days, I don't like my body. I got this little mommy pooch here. It's never gonna go away, right? So do you see the different perspectives of things, right? If I were to believe every single comment on social media, or the criticisms or the compliments, right? And I was to guide myself by that, I'd be like, ooh, riding this roller coaster wave, right? What I've learned to do is not really lean into too much of the compliments or the criticisms, right? Find yourself. What are we happy with? Know that my life is a journey. Like right now, and the path that I'm on, I have a 1.5-year-old, right? My body is not what it used to be when I was 16. Like, that's real life. When I had my first baby, I just popped back like I didn't even have a baby. Like, baby number 3, I had some work to do. It was, when you are 20, almost 30 years old, when I don't even say, I'm like, when I was 32 having a baby compared to when I'm 24 having a baby, you think my body's gonna bounce back the same? No. And it's okay. And you can love that. And every day I wake up, I remind my daughters that. Sometimes they'll go by and they'll like pinch my belly. Like, Mommy, look at this, squishy, squishy. And then I'll be like, that's where you lived. You were in that house. All four of you lived in that house for years, okay? So you give mommy some grace and you give mommy some love, because my body is strong and my body is keepable, right? And I love this body, and this body made you. And they just laugh and they love on it. There's no like negative comments from them, but I show them, right, that this body that we're in deserves love. And how cool is that, to think that the next generation after us, they're not going to be like, if we decide to make these changes, right, in our mindset, we can change the future for our daughters, for our nieces, for our nephews. So we're going to see these girls growing up and learn respect for a woman, right? So many things that they can learn as children, and we can model that right now. And so I hope today's little coffee chat helps you. I just love being completely random and off the top, just sharing what's on my mind, because that's what this podcast, that's what this YouTube channel is for you to jump in, join me, have a conversation, have some coffee, talk to your girls, right? Talk with your friends. And I hope that that's what it feels like every time you jump into one of my episodes. So leave a comment, leave a review. Let me know what you think. Send me some love, because I feel it on the other end, always. All right, ladies, love you. I'm sending all the aloha your way here from Kailua Kona, Hawaii. And dream into it, dreamers. Never stop dreaming. See you on the next episode. Bye. Mahalo for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Keep on dreaming into it, dreamers. The possibilities are infinite. If you love the show, share it with a friend and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next episode. Feel free to dive into our show notes at www.fushawaii.com. And you can also follow me on my personal Instagram at Roxelle Cho. I'd love to hear from you. Comment on my recent posts. What did you learn? Tell me your takeaways. Aloha!